We go. All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Tim. Good afternoon.
It's fun. It's always fun having a live audience for these. I remember back to the days, David, Saturday mornings, we'd get up, we'd have our coffee, and, we were building the energy for sales business and really just more coming up with content. And we just had so much fun. Uh, having our podcast, and we said let's get this out of a Saturday and put it in the week. And
Yep.
so once a month has become a consistency, and my goodness, the feedback we get every single month, um, the the asking for the recordings, the hey, that was, I learned this, I have questions for deeper questions on this, and picking up some clients, a lot of clients out of this actually. And but that's just, at the end of the day, that's the cherries on top of the joy of just being with you, David, and getting the coffee. If you're still doing coffee in the afternoons, I know that was more of a
Never.
morning thing.
Yeah, never
Um,
coffee in the afternoon.
my last cup is lunchtime, and then I just stretch it, and it's iced coffee by the time 3 o'clock rolls around. Do you warm your coffee up? That's the question, everybody. Do you warm your coffee up, or do you go hot and then finish it off cold? That's the question. Drop it in the chat. Are you a microwave? Do you nuke your coffee in the microwave? Shown a no. Okay, good. It's neither good nor bad. It's just cold. There you go. Yep. Hot in the morning, iced coffee in the afternoon, never microwave. Good. Good. All right. No coffee for me, only tea. That's good too. I just read an article that green tea actually has a few more perks than black coffee. And I do mine black. And now if you doctor yours up, that's fine. I wanted it to be totally healthy.
Yeah, I
So
mean green tea brings those antioxidants in and it's a good fallback.
Diet
So
Mountain Dew. Yes, speaking my language.
that's high octane right there.
I'm just messing. I
It
don't.
is.
Diet Mountain Dew. That's awesome. Green tea, green tea. Man, we got some green tea lovers. I might have to change my sales strategy to virtual tea. I do so many virtual coffees. I mean, I get a lot of traction, but I should change it to virtual tea. It looks like 50-50 here. Maybe a virtual Mountain Dew. Talk about knowing your audience, Dave. We're going to dig into knowing your audience
That's
today.
true.
Why salespeople who use the CRM make more money. So let's jump in, and just real quick, we'll stop sharing the screen. You'll be able to see David big and bold on the screen. But David, in many sense of the word, is Mr. Miyagi to me. He really helped me when I was cutting my teeth in sales. And still to this day, I'll be driving to a big meeting or a big business discussion, and I'll call him up and bounce some ideas off him, get ideas from him, and just solid perspective. So why salespeople who use Zero make more money? We'll cover that today. We always get asked for recording, so I'm going to leave this QR code up just for a brief second. If you could just take out your phone, scan, get subscribed to the YouTube channel. You're not going to get a whole lot of notifications. Okay, we're not over there every day posting, trying to be the biggest, the baddest. This is really a library of the recordings, and so you can absolutely grab them from there, share them with your team, rewatch them if something was said or a strategy was given that you want to go back and touch on. So get subscribed. Energy for Sales YouTube channel. And then send in your questions. One of the best ways to, or best places to do that is just shoot us an email back to, the email that we send out each month as a reminder. And we've tried different things. We've sent the reminder a week in advance, the day before, or the Friday before the Monday. We've sent it today. We did an hour out to see if that worked any better. It seemed like it did actually. And I just anymore, we all get inundated. But you all have my email, my cell phone. I believe you have David's. Um, Shoot us a question. If you have a question during the month, anytime, when it comes to your sales, when it comes to the strategy of communicating, connecting, and how to do it better, we're all for it. David and I just reviewed some scripts recently for some of you folks. Shoot us your scripts. We're all about adding value and partnering in your sales. So shoot us your questions. And then last but not least, get registered for the next months coming up. Again, this live webinar we do, thanks to F&F Family of Companies, it is for the trifecta. Your real estate agents can absolutely be involved. I get so many questions throughout the month. Hey, Tim, I was on your technology marketing and sales call with Andrew. Can I invite our real estate agents? I'm like, we really are coaching title companies on that call. And but our title partners have so many real estate agents and loan officers they touch. And I said, our live monthly energy for sales is really the best place because this is really sales philosophy and sales practicality all in one. And we really do gear it towards, again, anyone in sales. I mean, we have some people from healthcare on here, from the automotive industry on here. We have other industries on here, but this one we open up to the trifecta. So if you're in mortgage or real estate or on the title side, this call this month is for you. So get registered for the ones upcoming. And again, the fourth Monday of every month, other than holidays. So we have September 23rd coming up. We'll have a special guest on that one. David will be out. And then October 28th, right before Halloween. And really, look at staring down winter, right? And then we have November, December being right before the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. So get registered and we look forward to having you on. I'm going to stop sharing it, David. We're going to jump right in. And thank you guys for all the engagement in the chat. That was fun. We're going to jump right into why salespeople who use a CRM make more money. And we're going to just charge right into how to use your CRM to make more money. And I joked in the email, but it really is true. We believe that in sales, we should and can be having a lot of fun. There's a lot of hard work in relationship building, but it is one of the most rewarding jobs. And it's one that David says we can earn a raise every day. But why salespeople who use the CRM make more money is there's nothing really magical about that. It's really just all about process and consistency. And so we're going to talk about how to use your CRM to make more money. David, it's like when you think CRM and some of the pitfalls that you've seen teams over the years make when it comes to CRM, what are the top things that stand out in your mind?
Well, I think that all too often salespeople look at a CRM system, Salesforce, whatever that might be, Sugar, all of the different ones, HubSpot, as Big Brother or looking in or micromanagement. And I've always for decades worked with my teams. You have to look to the Salesforce automation, the SFA, about it. How there's nothing more beautiful to walk into a day and for me to find what did David tell David he should be doing today. Uh, you mentioned there's no magic to it, Tim. The magic is that the people that use it correctly, the professional salespeople that leverage it and use it correctly, are disciplined. And I think that, we talk about in the past, and Tim, this, and listeners know this as well, our friends. I don't think of time management. I think it's behavior management. I think that this is just another one of those behaviors that I'm going to stay disciplined. Yeah, you're going to hear the old adage, if it's not in Salesforce, it didn't happen, and that's true. But take it out of Big Brother watching micromanagement and really look at these as tools to help accelerate your touches, to create the right type of touches. You know, I started in a day when there was no CRM. Our CRM was a box of index cards. It was a tickler
Rolodex,
file,
baby.
and you moved in Rolodex, and you
Right.
moved in your index cards. You had them organized, like who you had them by day, and you had them by date, and you put them in there. So maybe for me, the beautiful automation around a CRM system sure was better than what the sales professionals that won back then. They've always leveraged, whether it's an automated CRM or an index card, tickler file to know who did David tell David he should reach out to today and for what. So that's really
Fantastic.
all I have. But I do think it goes back to discipline. If you
Yeah.
lead a disciplined life, a disciplined sales approach, you'll and you're with the right type of CRM, and how that Salesforce automation can help you. That's when chocolate meets peanut butter, and you get the Reese's cup.
I love it, David. And there's a question in the Q&A I'm going to answer here live. Megan, thanks for sending it in. Yeah, I'll read it out for everybody. If our company doesn't currently have a CRM, is there one you would recommend for a small but growing agency? So first, let me just answer yes, there is. But let me pause for a second because I've seen some companies get held up, kind of that paralysis by analysis. There's so many CRMs out there. I'm going to rattle off a couple of CRMs that I think are good for title agents, okay, and that I see successful title agents using well. As a title agency, you don't need the biggest and the best CRM out there. Salesforce might be a little heavy, especially if you're anywhere from one to three salespeople. It just might be just too much, and you're going to pay too much. The larger companies, larger sales teams, Salesforce, I see a lot leverage HubSpot. Even the free or like the first version of paid, which is
Mhm.
under $100 a month, I think is very effective. So HubSpot tends to be a good one in the title space. However, I would say two that I prefer and that I don't try to push anybody towards any CRM because I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Because there's two worse CRMs Dave is going to tell us about that we want to steer away from. But the two that I prefer for title is Bonzo and Title Sphere. Bonzo, I know a little bit better. Title Sphere, I was just introduced to, but it's created by title people for title people. And I was blown away by it. Bonzo is cool in that it integrates and it's owned by MMI. So MMI pushes data. So your data analytics on, your market can be pushed right into Bonzo. So those are for title companies, those are what I would recommend. But if you're a real estate agent on here, a mortgage banker on here, and you're in that same category of my company doesn't have a CRM, I will tell you this. Starting out, David said he used a Rolodex. So he just told how, that's why I call him Miyagi. Okay, everybody. Um, Karate Kid over here, I came into sales in the old gold mine. Does anybody remember gold mine? Okay.
Or
I
act.
used gold mine. And then it was Act after that. Yep. Or became Act. And then Act became probably Salesforce. But anyway, long story short, gold mine. And at the end of the day, here's what I believed in my heart that a successful CRM needed to look like, minus all the bells and whistles. Bells and whistles are nice. We'll talk about a few, but a CRM to work effectively, you need a name, first and last name. You need an email address and a phone number. Okay. The company they work for. And then you need a notes section. And then after that, if you could have some level of a timeline section or a task based, activity based additional section where you can then, like Ben Franklin says, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. When you enter a contact, what is your plan for that contact? Even if you don't know if it's a plan that works yet, you need to plan out what you're going to do. Like, what are the touches around it? So, in my mind, that all can be done. If you don't have a CRM and your company's like dragging their feet investing in a CRM, everything I just described can be done in Excel. I hate to say it that way, but I know some highly paid salespeople who use Excel, but they're disciplined with it. That's it. So I don't want us to have that and paralysis by analysis thinking I got to have the perfect CRM. Somebody just told me there's one out there, less annoying CRM. It's actually lessannoyingcrm.com. And they love it. It's $15 a month. And I was like, that's awesome. So, but if you're in real estate or if you're a mortgage, because I've been talking about title, solutions, um, please reach out. There are some that work better than others when it comes to your different industry that you're in. David, there are definitely two that we need to steer clear of, though. And what would you add? I'm sure your wheels are churning.
Um, I like that last one. You talked about Goldmine and Act, and I had bought it in the past, and because I wasn't disciplined, like I got stuck at the starting point. I was like, what do I want this thing to do for me? Now you do have to spend some time. What do you want it to do for you, other than your relationship management? That's what CRM stands for, customer relationship management. That's why you can do it on index cards. You can do it in Excel. You can do it in less annoying. You can do it to overpowered Salesforce, which can get to be a lot. So just have a plan in mind. I know we didn't utilize HubSpot for CRM, but in our when we were together, we use a lot of the marketing pieces. Um, they know sales, so I do like HubSpot for sure. I think the two worst CRMs, first off, is no CRM and no plan, no contact relationship management approach. So no CRM is a really bad one. And then one that isn't utilized. There's nothing worse than a company investing in a CRM and the salespeople are sloppy and lazy, and every day that it's not being used to its fullest, it becomes less and less of a wise investment. So it needs to start with the commitment of this is the plus for us. It's going to automate our touches. It's going to be a repository for those that we reach out. Your ability to look back at past emails and past touches, is super important. But to me, we kind of joked a little bit. The two worst, I'm sure people are saying they need to say, I can't wait to hear the two worst. And it's nothing, and one that's there and nobody uses. That's probably the worst, I think. So be disciplined,
Yes, Will, it was a
figure it
joke.
out. There are some free, you mentioned some free things. HubSpot has a free one.
Yeah.
Again, if anything can help you, a good I'm a big proponent that a good plan today is better than a great plan tomorrow. And you can just get vapor locked on like not making a decision. Salesforce is overkill for most organizations. Um, it just can be so, and it comes with a nice little investment price tag. So
Again, Energy for Sales and F&F family companies do not endorse any one
is
CRM. You should consult with your legal team on this.
this
And
our
just,
disclaimer portion?
I'm just messing.
You got to
I'm
speak
just messing.
faster.
But the worst CRM is the one that's not used. I've
Yes.
seen people roll out, I've seen companies roll out great CRMs, and the adoption, the usage internally was horrendous because they didn't think first user friendly. So, and they didn't think about, bot. We rolled one out recently, and I'll tell you one of the best things that the gentleman who's running this for our organization and rolling it out. First and foremost, he's very process driven and very thoughtful. And he really breaks things down, takes time with teams. So that's powerful. I think a lot of times an organization will launch something and then adoption needs to be right away. Get it. And it's like, no, it's going to take some time. So number one is the CRM needs to be bottom up. It needs to be useful for the people who are out and about. So that's why I say with your CRM, how to make more money out of your CRM, couple of things. Um, if you don't have it on your mobile version, like if you don't have it mobily, figure out how to get it mobily. We're salespeople, we're on the go. There are things that we need to go ahead and put in there. And whether we go organize that a little bit later when we're in a time block or in a dashboard, that's fine. You need to get an activity added. So here's a best practice right here, okay? Real quick. Um, and this is what I coach teams around. You're at a networking event. You have a really powerful conversation with David. You ask David some power questions, and David responds to you. Oh, Tim, yeah, I would love to get that from you. I would love if you could send me that, whatever. Um, when you get to your car, open up the 3 or 4 people you talk to specifically, open up and add right away a task. Just add the task and just dump everything you talked about, putting the bullet points of what you promised up top. Okay. But put that task out for whenever you're in front of your laptop for your time block. So, like teams I coach, Monday, they're time blocked to go address all open activities. Put it on for Monday. Then, when you go in there, you're automatically going to follow up because there it is. There's this task. It's due. Now, out of that task, you have 3 things that you promised David. One might be a coffee in a month. One might be a flyer you're going to send them. So take care of the flyer today. David, it was great seeing you at the networking event. Here's the flyer I promised you. And I'm looking forward to getting together for coffee. I'll send you some dates soon. Put that coffee as a new task underneath that contact, and it's all activity based then. So every time I touch somebody, I'm asking powerful questions to generate go forward objectives, and those go forwards go into the CRM, and then I build a plan into that contact based on those activities. It's just, again, be mobile first, because then that can happen, which then leads into the hack number two, activity based. So many of us think about contact or CRM as contact relationship or customer relationship management. That's fine, but what does that mean? How do you build relationships? By investing time where it matters, right? Just think about that. Relationships in your life. How does your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your, employees, your business partners, how do those relationships blossom? By investing time where it counts. So why do we go into a CRM and there's a name, there's an email, there's a phone number? Good. Now marketing can drip all the stuff on them. That's how sometimes we engage CRM. Wrong. It's great if marketing can engage and send out some campaigns because we uploaded or we entered the data incorrectly. That's great. But that's the baseline for a CRM. The goal with a CRM is activity based. What are you going to do in that relationship to nurture it and grow it? So if we think activity first, mobile first, activity first, and then we'll get into a couple more things. David, what would you add? Because when it comes to activities, I mean, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, more gets said than done, and more gets thought about as a salesperson than actually done.
Yeah, I think the point of capturing your notes and your activities right from leaving a visit is super important. We all have the best of intentions, and life's going to get in the way. It's also the reason why, after having a conversation with a client or a future client, I'm going to recap that, because I know very well that when the call is over, they're going to turn to their left and they're going to turn to their right, and Rome is burning to the left, it's burning to the right, and all the good conversation we had, all the key points, all the ROI, all the relationship gets flushed right down. So, super important. And if you don't have access to mobile, Tim, you've got some tricks on how you recap, through an app, some notes. You can write notes down. But yeah, super important. It's you know it's everyone's responsibility to help move that sales forward as far as marketing and yourself. But yeah, don't look at a CRM system as just that's for marketing standpoint. It's really to help you have have a full picture of all your communications back and forth. The right typing on Salesforce, you can have an Outlook plugin. So emails out get logged, emails back in get logged. You can really see the history. Just depends on the sophistication and of the CRM that you're utilizing.
And anymore, I mean, you think about when a CRM was used for email integration and tracking. A lot of times back, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have the search capability that our inboxes have now and the organizational ability our inboxes have now. So at the end of the day, the best thing to use a CRM for is activity planning and follow up and actually doing what you promised to do. And we're gonna continue down through this
Yep.
journey because a CRM, client relationship, customer relationship management, how are you managing the relationship as opposed to just managing the contact? A lot of times we just manage contacts, right? So if we can shift that perspective, salespeople who use a CRM to make more money or who make more money using a CRM, that's what they do. They flip the perspective. It's all about activity based and it's really their accountability. And David, you said something earlier. CRM sometimes can feel threatening to us. A couple of reasons. Sometimes corporate's pushing it down, like use this, use this, use this. And then sometimes too, the reporting feature, we kind of feel like, oh, I'm not logging every little activity, so it's not going to measure up. I would rather log quality activities and have a plan for every client that I deem growable or every new client that I don't have in our company, like they've not done business with our company yet. I would rather have a plan with them and consistently be executing on that plan, not worrying so much about the minutia. I see a lot of salespeople fall down where they're trying to track every little thing. Oh, I sent a text message over here. I did all that. Yeah, but what does all that revolve around? If it's about getting a brief visit because you've never visited this person, we know nothing happens till you visit, till you get face to face. If you're gunning for a brief visit, then Brief visit, right? And then what does that mean? Text, email, sequence. You might do a brief visit sequence. Last month we talked about powerful sequences, right? That might be 9 touches. So get with your sales manager, get on some common language like, hey, I'm gunning for here's a couple of campaigns, brief visit sequence. Then I'm gonna have a follow up, get into an event sequence. I'm gonna have a add value or demonstrate our value sequence where I can get them on a screen share, demo something with them. But come up with campaigns that when you put that in your brain, it's like that's a target client. I'm gonna run this sequence and then text, call, bomb, and you're not always chasing your tail. Oh, I gotta put that in. I gotta put that in. If that's the feeling, it's not fun. Oh, they're tracking the number of touches and I'm falling down. No, it's not fun. But here's what you do. Brief visit sequence. Okay. I call David. Call David. Boom. Now just move that due date from today because I'm doing it on my time block because it says call brief visit sequence is due today. I'm phone calling. I know the next step in that sequence is maybe a video email or a text message. So I'm going to bump that out. Just move the date. Move the date a week out. Activity based, guys. Activity. Move it a week out. And then when I come back to the time block, it's now on my activities list. What was the next step for David? It's right there. I've got my 9 touches in that same event. Boom. Okay. I'm texting. Did you get my voicemail last week, David? I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Move on. Move the date out another week. So whatever your cadence is, just move that date out until that sequence is done. You mark it complete and you move to a new sequence, which might be a pop by sequence or demonstrate value sequence or ask for an introduction into somebody else that's a better fit within the organization sequence. Like there's different sequences, which leads us to tagging. Campaigns are tagging because you need to know what lane you're in with somebody. If you go into the CRM and you see a name and it's like, what am I doing? What's next? We shouldn't have to answer that question in the moment. We need to strategically plan what's next when we enter the contact. And then we need to know what's coming next. And we always need to know where we're at. So when we're time blocked and we're coming to our CRM and we're hitting those activities or those contacts that we've said are important this quarter or this 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they're important. Then we're not lost on what's next with this person. So, David, what comes to mind when you think about the campaign or the tagging, what we call tagging? So you're tagging somebody to a certain sequence. Like what comes to mind when it comes to efficiency, where you see salespeople, like top performing salespeople, making more money because they're leveraging this correctly?
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head as far as sequencing and really understanding and tagging each of those um, contacts, clients, future clients into and having proper notes as to why am I reaching out to this person at this time. Those of us that are doing proper prospecting, the numbers get large, and you might have a couple hundred people that you're prospecting for various things. I'm hoping that your really good clients, when they call you, you know exactly why they're calling you back because you set that. But this, your diligence in CRM can help you. If I've reached out to 200-300 people in a campaign or in the various things, and they actually call me back, can you believe that, Tim? A world where someone actually calls you back, it catches you off guard a bit. And there's nothing wrong with saying, Tim, thanks for calling back. Let me go into my CRM system. I've got quite a few different campaigns going. I want to make sure that I pick this conversation up exactly where it was. Well, I need to have something that's pretty intuitive and pretty easy to do that. I can't tell Tim, hey, Tim, let me go look through my last month's worth of emails and oh, that's not it. Well, no, here we. Oh, no, that's not it. So it being your, if you look at it, it's your assistant. It's got everything there for you. So the tagging's important. And really, if you're doing a lot of different types of campaigns, event based versus maybe you have a campaign for clients that you lost, so a win back campaign.
Yep.
So you should have a lot of things swirling around. And granted, most of you, or probably all of you, are smarter than I am and being able to handle it. But if you're doing the proper volume, it's a lot, and you need you need an ally, you need an aid, and if you've done a great job and been disciplined in CRM, that can be it as well. Uh,
There's there's the old adage, a sharp pencil is better than a sharp mind. And I look at CRM as that sharp pencil. And it's funny you mentioned earlier that there is a hack, and if I could take 30 minutes and train on this hack that literally saves me hours a week and gives me so much mental margin back. But it's leveraging AI in note taking for the CRM. And if anyone's interested in that, here's my promise. Reach out, shoot me an email, and we'll jump on. I'll share my hack with you. It'll take no time at all. I'll even give you my prompt. I want you to have that because here's what I know. Pulling up in the driveway after a long day on the road, and I met with 7 different companies, speaking engagement here, 2 pop-bys here, a lunch here, a dinner here, and something else in the afternoon. I don't want to get back to my driveway and have my 4 kids run out to hug my neck and want to spend those 2 hours before bedtime intentionally with them, only to know that I'm forgetting stuff. And somebody said stress is just unfinished work. If it's unfinished up here, it's stress. So I like to dump it out. And I've got a surefire hack leveraging AI where I've got a sales assistant that rides along with me and I never have to type a thing. I don't even type into the CRM anymore. Okay. I mean, listen, guys, that's how top performers make money using a CRM. And I'll absolutely zoom in one on one with you. So please reach out. And I mean that because my heart is that sales can be a lot of fun. And when you could be fully present in a visit or a meeting or a speaking engagement, 100% fully present because you have tools and systems and processes working for you, sales becomes so much fun. So we talked about being mobile first, leveraging that. I mean, technology right in your hand, leverage it, get the work done. We talked about tags because if you can tag what's up with this contact, then you can sort by tags and you can run those sequences effectively, efficiently, because you're not switching between different things. You can run and you can invite groups of people to certain things based on those tags, right? So tagging people, brief visit. I want to get a brief visit with these people. These people need to be in our event, our sales training. These people need to be in our compliance training. These people need a touch about our value demonstrate, like tag stuff and come up with some meaningful tags based on your campaigns. Okay. So we talked mobile first. We talked activity centric, build the plan, work the plan. We talked about tagging. And the last thing how top performers use CRM to make more money is they segment. They segment. Before we move into segmenting, was there anything else, David? Just trying to pass this conversation, back and forth, because I
No,
know many times you'll be itching to say something, and you're so
no,
gracious never to interrupt.
well, I like interrupting.
I
I'll do that. I'll do that
say
soon.
never with air quotes. You're
Never.
very good about it. I'm worse than you. I interrupt more than you do.
It's quite all right. No, I think you're spot on. We've talked about segmenting. I will add that another tag um, is you can see what a marketing campaign, like we use a marketing campaign tag. So we know that without looking at all the notes, if someone attended that webinar or was part of that marketing campaign, then I have a pretty good idea of knowing what they might be responding to. So again, I'm shortcutting my especially if they're calling in, being able to get right on topic with them.
It's good stuff. Well, let's talk. Let's jump over to earning your clients and prospects engagement, but it really does start with that last piece of the CRM, which is segmenting. I'm gonna share an image. I know some of you guys have seen this before, but I don't want to just say it and hope you remember the image because it's a powerful image. I want to share this real quick, and this is a gentleman named Dunbar. In fact, I'll just take this article and I'll share it in the chat with you guys too. But Dunbar came up with this number of 150. Okay, it's called the Dunbar number, and basically what it boils down to is okay, any normal human being. There's some super normal, and there's some people who struggle just with remembering names. I mean, I sometimes feel like some days I'm top of the game, and sometimes I'm like, what was is it David? I mean, but it's just a part. We're inundated with so much, right? And we're plugged into so much technology. I mean, can we all just take a minute and just breathe? Like Facebook notifications will be okay. We'll get to them, and Instagram and everything else and all the emails. Like sometimes we feel like we're operating at 1500 at all times, but at the end of the day, the normal human being can adequately address and do well with and like give their heart and their soul to five deep loved ones, right? Think mom, dad, spouse, sibling, right? Five loved ones, okay? And then the normal person can maintain 15 good friendships, okay? And then the normal person can maintain 50 friends. Now, these are friends still we do things with, do life with, maybe we're at the club with or this, but they're not necessarily good friends. Like 15 is the max for like good friends, like share your heart with kind of a friend. Then 50 friends that we do life with, max. Then it goes out a little bit from there to meaningful contacts. These are where you can get to know them well enough to do work and business with. Okay. 150. And that's the magic number. That's the business number that I really want to highlight today. After that, we go to 500 acquaintances. Okay. And then we go to the maximum at 1,500 people you can actually recognize. In fact, if you go through your Facebook 5,000 friends right now, or if you've weeded it down to like, 1,700, like I've tried to do, you could probably remember where you met somebody, or through mutual friends, you could figure out, okay, that's probably where we connected. Same with LinkedIn. If you went through all 10,000 connections or whatever I mean, it's broad, right? But if you looked at the actual faces, it would be no more than 1,500 that you actually can recognize, like truthfully recognize. I met that person here, there, or the other. With that in mind, I want to kind of look at this as more of a funnel, like flip it on it, just kind of flip your perspective on the side and think about more funnel here. Okay. A lot of times we're trying to run or we're trying to leverage our CRM again as contact management. So we have 1,500 contacts. It's like, good. Now marketing can drip on them. Well, that's great. That's fine. But that's the top of this, right? 1,500, they see your name, you're staying top of mind somewhat. And sometimes we're not because it's just going to a spam folder or they've unsubscribed. We don't even know it. But by and large, marketing is dripping on all of our contacts, or we subscribe to a marketing campaign with all of our contacts. Totally fine. Some of us drill down even deeper and we segment it down to maybe in thirds. So we have 500 acquaintances, right? Being invited to a webinar over here or a webinar over there or a big event we're doing over here. And that's great. But here's the question. Have we segmented our CRM? And when we say segment, we've talked about segmenting before. We can certainly touch on it briefly here, and we'll probably dig deeper at some point in the future. But segmenting is just over the next 90 days. Who's a new prospect, or who's a prospect that I want to be doing business with when 90 days is up, and what does that sequence look like with that person? And who is a growable client? Who's somebody that, like David said, I haven't seen in a little while, or I lost them. I want to win them back. Like that's really where we have to do the work as salespeople. And the salespeople who use a CRM to make more money, they do the work. And at the beginning of every quarter, they have segmented down. They have 150 or less, but a maximum 150 people that have specific activities built around. Okay. Now 150, that's max. You'd be doing well to have 50. I would be doing well to have 50 over the next 90-day period that I'm going to be zooming in more individually. And we're going to talk about some communication best practices right now to do that. But segmenting is so powerful. And here's the thing that happens a lot of times. Again, paralysis by analysis. We go in and we think, well, man, dang, if I zoom it down to 50, I'm missing out on a bunch of people. I'm leaving people out. Here's the thing. Scrap that way of thinking. We're already leaving people out. And don't get me wrong, you're still dripping mass. You're still maybe doing a newsletter or doing a marketing campaign with everybody. But this segmented down specific few is what my buddy Mike Weinberg calls a finite, written, workable, keyword workable list. So we have to drill down in our CPL, CPL, look at me, close and protection letter, CRM, We have to drill down in the CRM every quarter to have a goal with certain people. And you'll still have the opportunities come in because you're dripping on the masses, but you're super targeted with a few. So that's Dunbar's number in a nutshell. David, when it comes to segmenting, I don't know anybody who does it better. You taught me the grading system A through D. Yeah, we talked about growable, not growable, accessible, not accessible. Like what comes to mind? And when you think about how salespeople, the top salespeople earn more money using the CRM, how do they go in and segment or mark those accounts where they're in their dashboard seeing exactly what needs to happen when they log in?
Well, first off, I really like this visual. You showed it to me earlier. I had not seen that before. And you have 4 kids, so I don't know what you're going to do on the 5 loved ones because you also have mother-in-laws. Uh, I just threw myself off track. Um, the key is to play small ball, and I work with teams. Yeah, we look at those 1,500 or 500, even 150. If you followed the movie about the Oakland A's, it was all about small ball and analytics. And I love working with teams. How can we get on base? How can we, can we steal second base? How do we get to third? Can we get a pass ball to get home? A lot of salespeople are all about the big home run. They always want to hit the home run, and home runs are great. And but I think that the proper utilization of a CRM system or any type of contact system, um, you know, you have to really inspect it and play to those smaller numbers. Who are my 50 going to be? Who are my 5 going to be for this week? Um, who are those conversations I have to have over this next week or two? I think that, and from there, that's your segmentation. Yes, ABC clients, some people that you don't know anything about, and they don't know anything about you. That's a C, you're going to nurture them. And then, you have to have an engine that can do that. CRM can help you get there. But the most important thing are those smaller numbers and um, really treating, individual plans. What am I going to do with that account, with that contact? How am I going to get them back? How am I going to get them for the first time? How am I going to get more out of them? How can I get a
Mm,
greater wallet share, client share? There's twofold, and a CRM can help you in either way. How do I increase market share? Those are people that aren't doing business with me. And how can I increase client share, get deeper with those? So
it's good.
always like the smaller numbers, for sure. So that
I love it. And in doing this, we are going to, when we narrow it down, we're going to move into the next point here, and that's earning our clients client share and prospects market share engagement. Here's one thing that I think salespeople um, fall down, and I certainly fall down on, but I think top producing, high earning salespeople use a CRM to gauge engagement. And they don't just gauge it, they figure out and they ask, how can I earn engagement? How can I earn the right to send something to these prospects or clients and they take it as important when something comes in from me? Sometimes, unfortunately, that means we have to be honest and say less is more. Sometimes we subscribe people to every marketing thing that corporate throws out or whatever, and we don't do the hard work to define what they're getting. And so our prospect has tuned us out because it's just our name and headshot on this generic thing, and they've tuned us out. I coach companies who tell me I've tuned out this vendor, this supplier. I mean, I watch it. I took comms in college. Comms was my major. Why? Because I'm all about like it doesn't bug me about somebody not receiving my message. It bugs me for me. Like, what could I have said better, different? Like, why didn't I earn their eyeballs? We talk about in communications earned media. It's where you have something to say worth saying, that you actually earn space in a magazine because somebody invited you. You earned it. Somebody invited you. Are people inviting you into their inbox? Are they looking forward to what they're going to get from you? Are you earning media with your prospects, with your clients? So let's talk about that. How do we earn our clients and prospects engagement? And I'll tell you the trick is what we just touched on about segmenting. when you can go deeper with few, because then you're able to articulate why they're receiving certain things from you. But before we get into some of the communication best practices, let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about setting up comms from the get go. Think about like a wartime scenario. What's the worst thing that can happen to a unit behind enemy lines? Radio goes down, comms go down. There's no communication with the outside world. Nobody knows where they're at. I mean, we watch the movies, we read the stories. I'm a huge history buff. I love history. We read the stories, and it's the most gut wrenching feeling when you don't have comms. But what happens in sales oftentimes is we go in behind enemy lines. We finally, not really. This sales should be fun. And David, we're not doing it right if it's behind enemy lines. But sometimes like we get in there, we have a great visit, or we finally get the visit, and we don't set up comms. Like, I'm leaving you now. This is my first interaction. Or let's take a phone call. Maybe it's not even a face-to-face visit. Maybe it's a phone call. A lead calls you from the first time. You're a real estate agent, and a lead calls you. And you know they're, I mean, maybe we don't know, but I guarantee you they're calling other people too. What will set you apart as a sales professional and how the CRM will absolutely aid you is if you can, right in that initial engagement, before you do anything with them, identify how they want to be communicated with, how they like to be communicated with. Make sure that what they're calling you on is their cell phone. Make sure you get their email address. Like, hey, let me establish this so we have a clear line of communication open. I want to serve you in this. Let's make sure that clear line of communication open. There should be no explanation needed for that. That's human. If you were doing that with, if you were doing any form of logistical planning with, your significant other or anybody else, you know how they like to be. They like a text. I'm not going to call. They like to text, or I am going to call because they hate to text. You know that with your best friends, but oftentimes we don't even ask
Mhm.
with our clients. And I know for me, I'm moving too fast. I don't. So I'm preaching to the choir here too. But setting up comms first. If we want to earn our clients and prospects engagement, we set up comms first. David, again, there's some techniques here. Initially, how to reach you, but maybe sometimes after we've promised them something and in following up, there's also some questions we can ask so that we establish comms. So what would you add there?
Yeah, I think that, and you and I talked about this a little bit. A team, I, I'm helping a team right now, and the blind spot is when someone names us vendor of choice, or hey, we're going to sign this and it's going to go somewhere, and we don't ask, okay, so what's that process? Whether it goes to the board, it goes to the executive leadership team. I think it's very, very logical to ask, great, Tim, that's super news. If I don't hear back from you, say by the end of next week or the beginning of the week before, like when should I follow back up? Because Tim has every inclination for this to happen. He wants it. He's my sponsor. He's got to send it above to get signed. Maybe he doesn't know how long it's going to take, or maybe he does know. But again, the communication of me offering, oh, well, I'll have this back to you quickly. Well, that's quickly can be months or it can be minutes. So
Mm.
really kind of fine tuning with respect. When would be a good time for me to follow up? Very excited by your decision. Can't wait for you to be a partner of ours, client. When should I follow up if I don't hear from you or if I don't get it back to remind you? And that will always give you a time. Now, some might give you a time that's further out than what you'd hope, but at least you're communicating. You're on that same wavelength of setting expectations and asking, which I don't think anyone has ever said, no, don't call me back. I'll let you know. If it's there, then it's not going to happen. And you need to almost rethink if that's a client you want to bring in to your organization. So you're at a point, but always just setting what's the preferred method? How long should I wait if I don't hear back? I know you have a lot of other top initiatives, and if you've listened along the way, you almost know what those initiatives are, or if you've done research, you know what the organization's up against. So again, it positions you to even more fairly ask that question. But staying on the same page and asking when would be right for me to follow back up? Because those things can take a long time if you don't button them down. Oh, well, I'm going on vacation for 2 months and
Yeah.
okay.
And here's the thing that also opens up insight, right? So first and foremost, the worst thing is you do great work, you demonstrate value, you get somebody close, and then it's months chasing it down because we didn't establish comms. Comms are down. That's the worst thing to hear in a activity minded like what where do we go from here? Now, um, couple of things you mentioned, and I remember something you taught me a long time ago was when they respond back, well, I'll get back to you, and it's a date much further than what you had anticipated. Um, Something that you can insert there is if somebody says, I'll get back to you by the, and it seems longer, say, that sounds great. Thank you so much. That in the past, what clients have really, what I found they value and appreciate was just a quick, very brief check in about halfway along the way, just to see if there were any questions that bubbled up or anybody on the team, had anything once you surface
Yep.
that to them. Would that be okay with you if I touch base about halfway between our get back together? And that they're like, yeah, that'd be fine. Call you on your cell phone is that easiest, like, and that way you're establishing that. But again, I don't like to say like being a control freak, but also owning the sales process is trying to insert yourself where you think things could. I mean, if it's a month, I mean, a lot can happen in a month. So I don't like to let anything kind of off that 2 week leash if it's really moving
Hmm.
forward. So just offering a touchback, or sometimes it's like, hey, is there anyone on the team while you guys are having that discussion that would like to demonstrate or see this so that when we do get started, we're already set and ready to jump off into this marketing solution or whatever. Oh yeah, that would be Sue and Leon. Okay, great. Could you maybe introduce us all in email? I'll take care of that while you're working with the decision maker. So again, setting up comms and sometimes inserting a comm when there's not a communication at the needed checkpoint in your mind. So owning the sales process there. But Dave, you taught me that a long time ago. I've used that one. Again, I just like to keep things on that short leash. The biggest thing here though is getting agreement, right? So we can throw out the insertion of a halfway checkpoint. We could throw out like okay, or they could throw out, yeah, maybe in 2 weeks. Well, or maybe in a month. Okay, that's great. So how do you want me to reach out to you? Just to buzz you on your cell phone, shoot you an email, set up a 30-minute call, like whatever. Get that like get specific enough that you can actually get agreement. Everything's like, yeah, we'll talk. That's not agreement. We'll talk, not agreement. Specificity will bring you into more reality.
Yep.
Specificity will bring us into more reality. So, getting agreement means being very specific. Ask how, and then we're going to log that, right? Here's the other beautiful thing. When you get that specific, you are going to literally force yourself into a CRM. Do you know why? Because you will get back to the car and think, oh, good. Okay, I can't miss this. What is going to happen? You're going to go set the activity. You're going to put it on the calendar. You're going to log your notes. You're going to remember because you have something to go follow up with. Um, Zig Ziglar said, it's one of my life quotes that I live by. He said, most people, in a world where most people choose to be a wandering generality, choose to be a meaningful specific. In a world where most decide they're okay being a wandering generality, you choose to be a meaningful specific. And it goes in sales. The more specificity you can drive for, when it's so simple as how do I contact you? And if you're like, man, you leave the meeting and you didn't ask or you forgot because you're just now learning and exercising these muscles, totally okay. Do what our friend Justin Cook says, and you all love Justin, right? Okay, it's the Cook method. If you don't know, you ask. Text him or call him. Hey, I failed to ask you when I zoom in with you guys in a month. How do you want that? Is that a Teams call, phone call? How do you want? Again, being specific with that minute detail is
Mhm.
absolutely surefire help that it's going to happen. And it also absolutely is getting their agreement because now they're looking forward to that specific thing. David, what else would you add when it's earning your clients and prospects engagement? We talked about less is more. maybe unsubscribing from certain things and being meaningful with what they want to hear? Do we ask what they want from us earlier on? Do we ask what kinds of touches or what kind of materials they're interested in?
Yeah, I think that's always a good place. And again, we've taught this for a long time. You have to touch them with value, and you have to understand what value is to them, because value to you is not the same as value to them. And to your illustration that started all this, they might have already shut us down because of um, too much irrelevance, too much marketing, too much of too much. So really understanding, and especially important for those that are on their own time frame, don't like to receive a lot of stuff from marketing, that you stay close, and you set a sequence, you set a pattern that is appealing to them by asking them, understand you've opted out of our marketing. I know that you're interested in this solution and the service we offer. What's the best way? How often do you want to hear from me? Um, but you have to touch them with value as well. Um, so the larger the
So
organization, the more clutter they're getting from you, most probably. I know I've seen that for sure. So
that's good, and I love that you just said that too because it reminded me of something that we've done and it's worked very, very well. So for those clients that they're not interested in getting the weekly email, and I think if a company is sending a marketing piece weekly, that can absolutely be too much. Um, I think going into the system and marking or tagging personalized marketing or personalized drip can be super impactful for the people that they don't want this. They don't want listen, I'm not going to call it spam, but they will call it spam. Your customer, your prospect, they will absolutely call it spam because it's one of many and they don't really care. They only care after they're really starting to do business with you. They've met with you, they see your heart behind stuff. So I would absolutely say like more of a personalized drip. And then here's what I would do. You make sure you're CC'd or you're getting the same marketing blast that's going out to your database. And then you take in that marketing blast one or two things that are actually important. And you create a personalized message, you could forward the marketing email. That's totally fine, but it's coming personally from you now in an email. And you say, hey, David, I've kept you off these for sake of your, keeping your inbox free of clutter, like I promised. This one came out, and I really think the fraud insights down below, based on our conversation last week, would be worth the share with your team. I wanted you to have that, and man, I'm looking forward to getting coffee with you in the near future. Okay. Now, I might do that with 50 people. I can do that with 50 people. Every month when the marketing blast goes out, I will. And here's the other thing. If I do my own, because I do my newsletter with video, and we've taught that. If you guys are interested, reach out. So much more powerful, right? But even then, I know that becomes lost in the sauce. So what I will do at any given month is I have 50 people in a 90-day period that I'm somewhere along that 90 days within the month. I might be touching 15 this month, 10 next month, and another, do the math, 15 then following. Um, yeah, 20 and 15, 15, 20, 15. There you go. I can't add. Andrew, if you're watching, he's the banker in the family. He's like, bro, that was 40, not 50. But anyway, not just messing. But no, here's the thing. Every month, the newsletter, that drip goes out, meaningful as all get out. But I know it's going to blend in. So what I'm doing at any given time is I'm re-forwarding with a quick reply. Hey, and I might resurface the next day. I might resurface right away. If I feel like it's a critical prospect and I told them I was going to send them a drip to see what they think, I may reply right away to those critical prospects and to those 5 and say, hey, here's that drip I was telling you about when we had coffee last week. Let me know if this is valuable for you if you would want to receive this each month. Again, like I promised, no spam. This is a personalized message curated to prospects who would value this, that, and the other. So I'm literally asking, taking a marketing monthly drip, and I'm personalizing a message and say, here's what I told you you'd be receiving. Let me know if this is valuable, please. So powerful. And the responses I get back, number one, it kind of forces them into looking at it. Number two, if I don't get a response back to that, I'll give them a buzz the next week. I was like, hey, do you see my email? Promised you that. It's as simple as I promised them a comm. I sent the comm. And then I use what I call a highlighter to say, hey, I just sent you the comp. What
Hmm.
did you think? Is it valuable? And then would you like to be receiving this once a month? Agreement. Define your presence. Define what that communication that just landed in the inbox is. It's interesting. If we looked at our inboxes a little bit more like our old-fashioned mailboxes, it would make a little bit more sense, I think. Because think about how many times you walk up to your mailbox. Ah, letter from grandma. In this pile, whoosh, right in half, in the can, in the shredder. Because it's just spam. Same thing. We have to in our comms. But here's the thing. You won't remember unless you tag it in the CRM or unless you thought through, I'm going to add them to my monthly newsletter and I'm going to resurface with a specific ask. So maybe it's your campaign tag is setting up comms. And in that sequence is they get the first drip, you're going to reply to that drip and ask them if it was valuable and if they would like to continue to receive. Many of us don't do that. Many of us just add names to our database, just add names to our CRM because, again, it's a contact management system instead of a client relationship management system. And we are not really managing the relationship. We're not really earning the right to drip on them, earning your clients and prospects' engagement. Um, David, again, highlighter, something we've used powerfully in the past, still coach our teams to this day. What would you add on that? I mean, I know you love highlighting books. Have read some of the books that you've loaned me, and pink and green and yellow. I mean, highlighter. What would you add to that?
I think that the ability to repurpose marketing collateral that speaks, a part of it speaks directly to your interaction with that person is very powerful. You know, I learned also, I used to love sending books to people, which was great, and they would enjoy it if it was a book that was impactful for me. But when I took it to the next level and mentioned certain pages, have highlighted, I've bent back the page on page 64 through 68 because it's right in line with what we were talking with that I think you're struggling with. Again, so the repurposing, the highlighting of certain things, even to folks that haven't shut you off, they're just not reading it. They haven't opted out. But it's a good thing to bring that back again, um, if that's part of your sequence of touches. So
So again, you can add this in as maybe a tag, and you can apply this to 50 people over the next 90 days, re-articulate my presence in their life, highlight a marketing piece. And then the next marketing that comes out next month, pick 15 people that would apply to and resurface it with a personal, hey, I was thinking about you. Hey, I was thinking about you, David. The fifth link in our blast below made me think about our coffee conversation and how you're growing your team and really investing in their value. This one should be a valuable share for you. By the way,
yeah,
are you enjoying these monthly? Like if this is after the fact, they've been receiving them for quite a bit of time. Have you been enjoying these monthly newsletters? Are they valuable? Don't be afraid to ask those
yeah.
questions. Again, CRM, client relationship management. It's all about the relationship. You got it. How do you build relationships? Ask questions. Dig into their heart and figure it out. All right, so let's keep moving. Communication. We're talking about communication. A couple of things here is as you're adding somebody into the CRM, okay? And you're thinking about which tag, what's next with this person. I want to get in front of them. I'm going to add them to a marketing drip, and I'm going to personalize that. I'm going to demonstrate some value. Like, what stage are you at with them? What are you going to tag them with? I think the biggest thing is this: if you're going to communicate, if you're going to have something going out to them, some drip, then you have to ask yourself, do I have anything consistent? A lot of times what I find when it comes to newsletters or when it comes to marketing and a lot of solopreneurs, we don't have a consistency. So how can I promise somebody something that I'm not consistent at? So I'm just, again, beginning with the end in mind, kind of off the CRM topic just a second, but really it ties into the CRM because if you're going to streamline and have a process behind, I'm going to promise you something and then I'm going to follow through and do it, right? That's what CRM is for. It's building that relationship. Okay, what do I do consistently? What am I doing consistently? What are my campaigns? What are my trips? What are my communications? What are my events? What can I be inviting them into? Okay. And if none of that's you, if you don't have a newsletter or an event strategy or like education, communicate, that sort of thing. Okay, where are you? How often are you in their area? When is your milk? Like, what are you going to be bringing them of value? Like, what are you inviting them into? What are you building? So just being aware of that, being consistent. We're going to put a little bit more time back in the day for everybody, and I'm going to stick around for some Q&A. David's got to jump on with a client here in just a few, but probably one of you guys reaching out for, if you ever want a great script, by the way, David is Mr. Script Master. For sure. David, and man, some of your scripts, brother, we have blown open some doors wide open. I love it.
Well,
So here we
just
go.
don't get too much in love with a lot of words because
Oh
your
man,
feelings will be
less is
hurt.
more, baby. We talked about using a highlighter. We talked about defining your touches. We talked about being consistent. So earning your clients and prospects engagement and using your CRM to gauge. Here's what I personally would wish that every CRM had a red, yellow, green. Red, no contact made. Yellow, contact made and warming up. Green, they're happy, they're on fire. We can make money here. Like just red, yellow, green in your brain. I know every CRM doesn't have this, and most don't. In your brain, are they red? Are they yellow? Are they green? And how do you get them from red to green? How do you get them from yellow to green? Like, how do you move them up? So you got to be able to take temperature, and the CRM can absolutely help with that. But you got to think with the end in mind. And so, a couple of things we talked about: the two CRMs to avoid. Yes, Will, it was a trick, but not really. The worst CRM is the one you never use. You just don't use it, and then the CRM that you just don't have one. And if you don't have one, start with Excel. Build just very practically. Here's a takeaway. If you don't have a CRM, start with Excel and just build you some columns: first name, last name, email address, phone number, a notes section, the company they're with, column 5, column 6, a notes section. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 columns can just be your next step planning columns. Okay. And you can put the next step campaigns up top and then just put an X when you do that campaign or when you start that campaign. And then just have a note set. You could do it. It's that simple. All right. So, and then the last thing, I just want to end with a quick word of motivation when it comes to CRM. CRM, if you can embed this in your brain or tattoo it on your arm, whatever it takes, CRM equals trust. Somebody said people do business with people they like, know, see, and trust. And I think the highest one on all of that is trust, because I've actually done business with somebody I've never seen, somebody I don't really know, but they demonstrated that they were a person of their word virtually. Like you think about our virtual world, they demonstrated that they were a person of their word, and I could trust them. And they worked for a good company and all that, but I could trust them. Okay. I got to know them, but I trusted them. How do you build trust earlier on in any sales cycle? You make a promise and you keep it. You can't make promises implicitly. There are certain implicit promises that you're going to look nice on a Zoom call, that you're going to show up with professionalism, that you're not going to have a million typos in your email. Like those are implicit promises as a sales professional. But the explicit promise is where it really takes off and what salespeople fail at doing. We don't make promises to our prospect. Okay, so I'm going to get agreement on this and I'm going to make them a promise. I will follow up with you by, or I will be calling you the week of. I like week ofs because if something comes up emergency wise, you have a week to full. I will call you the week of. I will send you this by this time. Make promises explicit and then use your CRM to log and to then go time block and do what you promised you're going to do. I find that the people who make more explicit promises are the ones who actually live within the CRM, because they know there's no way to build trust without taking care of my future self. And that's logging in exactly what I'm going to be doing and by when with this contact that I have deemed important enough to zoom in more intentionally with. And so therefore I say CRM can equal client relationship management, but I think it can also be known as trust, building high trust faster. And whoever has the most trust wins the business. So hopefully this time together has shown us that using CRM isn't complicated. We didn't demo you Salesforce and HubSpot. We didn't take you on all the bells and whistles. There are bells and whistles. Reporting is phenomenal. If you can figure out key reports, and I'll talk with you guys, if you can hang on a few more minutes, I'll talk to you about some key reports that you need to be working on, or that you need to be able to see at a moment's notice, anytime. But no bells and whistles. All of it comes down to who am I zooming in with intentionally, and am I being a person of my word? David, final word, golden nugget. I know you got to hop, but
Two things.
CRM.
CRM, capture real money. There you go.
I love it.
So that's
I
one.
love it.
And talking about going back to the automation, we even have automation triggered in the system to alert us to an account that hasn't been touched in 90 days. We set it at that because that's the proper cadence again for those existing accounts or those that we're calling on. So there is, to your point, um, Tim, a lot of the reporting's there. We can run some reporting the way we have it set to pull people that we lost that went away from us between 18 and 36 months ago, which means they're probably coming out of contract because it's normally 3-year contract. So there are a lot of really cool things with the proper CRM system. And but just even to your point, even if it's Excel, if it's index cards, have some sort of discipline regiment to your contact, and go collect real money, go capture real money with your systems.
It's fantastic. I'm going to remember that one. I think you just came up with that on the fly. I've never heard that
I
one
did.
before. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
bravo. David, Godspeed. Take care, brother. Appreciate you.
Everyone be good.
All
Take
right,
care.
everybody. I know you're hanging out. I've got a bonus for you guys here in just a second. An event we're doing in October. I want to share with you. But a couple of quick things about reporting. Okay, for me, the number one report I want to see is who has committed to do business with me, who have I met with and I'm in conversations, but they've not committed to do business with me, and then who do I have that I'm dripping on that I have not met with yet. Okay, I call those three. Those are three massive groupings within my CRM, and I'm going to approach each of those groupings differently. Red, I want to visit with. I want a face to face with. I've asked multiple salespeople every coaching event, when does the magic happen? Now, when I get belly to belly, when I get face to face with somebody, and whether that's Zoom, virtually, or in person, red. I have not met with the decision maker yet. That's red. And then yellow is I've met with the decision maker, but no decision has been made yet. Well, that's where a hard work really comes into play. And that's where we're talking earlier about making promises. If you make promises when you meet with, you ask questions, you find out what's important to them, and then in your mind, it's like, hey, can I follow up with this? I'm going to send your team this, and then you're going to introduce me to so and so. Those that sound good. You get that agreement, and then all you're doing then is you're following up on those promises. You're doing what you promised. That will typically move them very, very close to agreeing. And then there's some like, navigating objections, uncovering the objections, figuring out why they won't commit business with us. That's more the skill, but man, making promises and fulfilling those promises, that's where the trust is built so that you can earn the right to ask what's standing in your way. And then green is those people who have committed to do business with you, maybe just haven't yet. And so figuring out how to stay top of mind, super relevant, digging in a little deeper. If the relationship you don't feel is deep, how do I make it go deeper so that they'll actually go ahead and take action with me? That's how. So I want to see a report at any given time, and this is whatever team I've been coaching with, working with, or when I was doing sales, on my own. That's when I became a top performer. When I had red or green, yellow, red right in front of me at all times. When I could see in my week as I started my week where everybody was at on that dashboard. Okay. Now, I've told most of you my story. I grew up in the automotive space. I did sales in the automotive space. We were taught the Toyota production system and everything around Toyota. If you recall, they are very or technology driven, but they do not rely on technology. Technology serves them, but they are very red, yellow, green. So that's where the red, yellow, green came from. But that's how I segment my list at all times. All right. So now that's the report I want to see. Is the dashboard the green, yellow, red. Number two report I want to see at all times are my activities. What activities do I have? Here's why. I coach a lot of salespeople, and what happens is we time block for phone calls, for outbound prospecting, for shooting a video to a prospect, for trying to earn a visit, setting up something with somebody I've never met with, or somebody moved away from me, earning business back, or I could grow wallet share with this good client, but how do I even begin that conversation? All of these things are important. We time block, and then we get to that time block, and our inbox is on fire, and we cheat on ourselves. We don't do the stuff. Why? Because a lot of times it's so much minutia up here. We get to the time block, we don't feel focused. So here is the report number 2. The activities that you have specified out, you've been specific with the activities based on these growable accounts and these prospects. I have activities in front of me. If you could just have that report as your dashboard when you get to your time block, then it's common sense. And be specific enough. Text so and so to follow up on marketing email. That's what the subject line should say. There should be no doubt in your mind when you get to your time block exactly what to do. If you will take care of your future self by putting in the plan with every prospect and every growable client, the plan, then when you get to your time block, you will succeed. And it's not even about doing it perfectly. I've actually fallen down and not gone through everything on my activities list or whatever, but I know I've got the time block and I'm going to be specific with my activities. It's going to get done eventually. Now, there are certain ones where I committed by this week I would send this. Those go on my calendar. They're in the CRM, they're on my calendar. And some CRMs don't integrate with a calendar. So you need to just own the calendar and put on that time block. That's when you're going to do it. So I might have time block for my activities, my sales activities, high value activities. But then in that same block on my calendar, I might have send Mike personalized video for this certain thing. Why do I say that? Because I committed when I was with that person by this date, I would send that. Does that make sense? And the other beautiful thing is I know when my time blocks in the week are because those are consistent. So when I commit to somebody, I will say by the week of such and such, I'll have that over to you Thursday at the latest, right? Because Tuesday and Thursday, those are my big time blocks to do my follow-up stuff. So like the more specific we can be, the more explicit we can be with our promises, and the more reality we're going to find. And like David said, we're going to capture real money. So those are the 2 reports, a dashboard, what stages everybody's at with me as far as, green, yellow, red, and then activities reports so that in my time block, I can be highly effective, lethal, in fact. I kid, but CRM, so very valuable. And here's the thing, make CRM work for you. Another thing we even touch on today with CRM is teamwork. So many times we have team members who could absolutely help us in sales. We call it a bump set spike approach. But even then, being able to tag a team member when they're up on base or when you need something from them, or please personalize and send, or join me at this event with this, shared account or whatever. So there's a whole teamwork aspect to a CRM, but never do I fear a CRM. And I think some of us do. We fear a CRM thinking somebody's watching, looking, I'm not performing good enough. Just flip that on its head. Just discard that. That's not useful. It's not helpful. Look at a CRM that's helpful for you to build trust, high trust, faster, quicker, and make more deals happen. People who use CRM make more money. Now, before you go, we have an exciting event in October. And due to some amazing developments with speakers that we were really hoping to have, we've actually went ahead and moved the date out. All right, we moved the date out. And so you guys know we're doing this event with Top Shot Pro, our great partners from Energize Conference, and Michael Rivera. A lot of you guys know Michael. But registration is now open. And this is too big. Let me zoom this down. But we've got a great lineup of speakers, real estate influencers. This is an event for real estate agents and mortgage bankers. Please invite your network. This is going to be up in Tyson's Corner at the Look Cinemas in the theater. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have happy hours 2 days, October 23rd to 24th. But again, we lined up a few more speakers that we were really hoping to have. We were planning originally October 1st and 2nd. We're now October 23rd and 24th, which tends to work better in several people's favor. So we're excited for this. Again, accelerate, do not try. It's all about do, not trying. We are going to take action. We are absolutely going to crack laptops. So day 1 is going to be highly inspirational and motivational with a lot of speakers. Then day 2, we're going to go deeper, crack laptops, give people prompts for AI. We're going to teach segmenting databases. We're going to teach real estate agents scripts that they can use with their database right now to generate more business. It's going to be highly practical. And day 2 is absolutely going to be a workshop. So We like to say it's just not a conference. It's a 2 day intensive where we're going to dive into the best strategies to boost your real estate business and stay ahead of the competition, bringing you real ROI from the moment you start learning and applying it. So with social media, which Rivero is going to talk about and dig deep with Andrew, all the way into AI, video marketing, and then also how to communicate better, and then also the sales processes and systems. So we're going to talk about building momentum. The other thing is making sure we're focused in the right direction because there's a lot of noise out there, especially when it comes to technology and AI. There's a lot of noise. We're going to teach real estate agents what to avoid and where to go focus. If we're pointing in the right direction, then we can absolutely mash on the gas pedal. Now, if you're on here and you're a title company, you say, can I come? I've had many title companies ask. Well, absolutely. Absolutely, you can. We're asking that you reach out to your network and bring 4 to 10 people. Like reach out and say, are you coming with me? Right. And then reach out to Andrew, me, or your F&F rep because we have a discount code that you, a title company, gets to, because you're partnered with F&F, you get to send out to your network and bring them along so that we can all grow together. And the beautiful thing there is it gives you touchback moments with those clients or prospective clients you bring to zoom back in with them. Hey, now that Accelerate's done, how can we hold each other accountable, right? So it gives you that moment to zoom back. So again, we're trying to add value. I'm always looking to do that. And this event we've been asked so many times, are you going to do a real estate facing event, real estate facing event? This is our real estate facing event, October 23rd and 24th. We're excited about. Hope you guys will join us. Reach out if you have any questions. I just want to tell you guys, thank you for being on today. It's always great to do these each month. David is, again, my mentor and somebody I'm so grateful to be able to share with the real estate trifecta, the world that I get to live in. David coaches and operates in the healthcare channel very heavily. He's in high demand, and so it's great to be able to pick his brain. And a lot of the outline, a lot of what we go over, he and I digest in depth several mornings, and really trying to bring it very practically down to earth where it really makes sense for us. So if we can help you with CRM, if we can, help get a demo lined up with some of the CRMs I offered earlier in the call, please reach out to us and we will do that. And again, join us next month. We have a special guest on. I'm excited for you guys to meet. Stay tuned. And again, be blessed. Labor Day is next Monday. Can't believe September's already here. But let's wrap up August strong and let's go into our CRM and look at it a little differently today as a tool that builds trust and, like David said, captures real money. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next month.